Hey,
Hi, how's it going?
going all right. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. How's your day going?
It's going pretty well. I'm transitioning to video sessions and phone sessions for all the clients, which has kind of been a trip because it's not, I'm a real face-to-face kind of person. So it's definitely a learning curve there for me. But I'd much rather. I'm first very thankful that that exists, that we are able to have the technology to do that. So, I'm just not going to complain about it. Yes, that's what I'm going to choose. But other than that, yeah, it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's interesting to kind of get adjusted to this new normal
Hmm.
and adjusting to like the video conferences and staying at home and in quarantine. And
Yeah.
I was spending some time this morning just kind of meditating and praying and just kind of just getting grounded. And I just came across the idea of how important it is to kind of really think about gratitude and the idea that it's very easy for us, I think, within the situation to be frustrated with how things are going. You know, we're in quarantine, we're at our houses, not able to move. But then again, it's the idea of remembering that actually we have a house, we have a roof over our head. You know, we have
Right.
bills, we have so many things that are just granted towards us that we
Hmm.
may easily overlook due to being uncomfortable, right?
Hmm.
So that's something that I was just really just thankful about this morning, just kind of thinking with my own time. So
Right. I mean, the idea that grows is the one that you feed. So if you spend a whole lot of time on the negative and dwelling on the negative, then that's what's going to be there for you and what you're going to have to battle even harder. But there is so much to be grateful and thankful of. So, every day is a constant reminder of that.
it is, it is. Well, I do appreciate you joining this session today
Mhm.
and looking forward to our conversation. For many people that don't know that are just tuning in, I met you in relation to an event that I was producing last
Mhm.
year, particularly on mental health in
Yeah.
regards to a film that I made called Growing Up in America. And
Mhm.
this is a documentary series that highlights cultures and conversations surrounding underrepresented communities in America. And we focused in on mental health, particularly in Austin, where we've been touring around with the film. And these events include me reaching out to professionals and people that are experts within their field of mental health, counseling, therapy, kind of add additional value to the film and the experience within each space that we go to. So Patty was one of our guest panelists at our event here in Austin. I was so thankful for her and her insight on the subject matter of mental health, and it's been great to kind of see a continued relationship with you throughout this process and going into this year where it's tough right now for many people. And I don't know where you were at as far as when the coronavirus became a little more real and tangible, within your life. But I know for me, it was it was difficult to process at first, just because I've never really experienced anything within this magnitude. And 2020 in particular has been a very difficult year for me, with just my ongoing personal things that have been happening around me, my friends and community and family, and dealing with that. And then this happened, and I think when it really became real, I just became numb. And I know everyone has a different starting point of how they were impacted in the very beginning stages of this pandemic. But for me, I guess I was just numb because of all the things that were just happening around me. And my goal was just like, let me just survive. So I kind of
Yeah.
unplugged from social, from people a
Hmm.
little bit as much as I can, and just try to be a little more self aware about what I need at what time. And and then this happened, and I was just really just quiet, just really trying to process about what this new normal mean for me, for my family, my friends, community, and our world. So it was just a lot to process. And then uh, later on, or last week, I reached out to you and a few people that I know,
Hmm.
just seeking like guidance and ways that we can kind of process things together. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity for us to kind of lean into our vulnerabilities and refocus on our own global, community in ways that we can kind of unify. So the idea behind this session today is to do just that. It's to not just talk about the idea of the coronavirus itself, but more so of how it's impacting us as individuals and collectively as a community, as well as what are ways that we can respond well. And so, within my own sphere of, friends and community and things that I see within media, I see two different types of extremes. One extreme falls on the landscape of people that are in panic mode, and they're price gouging, profiteering. They're driven by racism. They're driven by anger and their own and discomfort, and it's almost this overwhelming emotional state that a certain group of people are in. And then on the other end, there are people that are not taking it as seriously and are still out and about. I mean, my friend sent me a text today showing a lake or a park full of people, and I'm here bunkered up, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, this makes me mad, So you're seeing things like that where not only are their health, could be at a cost, but they also can be detrimental for others that they are around. Because from what I've been assessing and seeing is that this virus is growing exponentially. So all it needs is one person to be in a wrong room of another person that wasn't in a wrong room for another person that wasn't in another wrong room. So it's like these exponential growths of this virus, and it's leaving our healthcare system very vulnerable and not being able to kind of handle it. So when you have this mindset that you're not taking it as seriously, you're not listening to your healthcare professionals and officials, you are being a carrier of this virus, someone that may not have a strong respiratory system or may be greatly impacted by it. So it's a lot to process. And this is why I like this, because I'm processing things with you throughout this process. And I can speak to it and open the landscape for many people to kind of hear in, because I don't know who's watching and what they're going through, but I know all of us are going through a lot together. And this is an opportunity for us to really grow through this process and see a new perspective and handle ourselves in a way where it's effective for where we're at, because the reality is this is where we are.
Right. And I think both of those extremes that you mentioned are, those are people trying to just calm their anxiety, just tamp that down as best they can. The people who are hoarding and panicking right now are, managing their anxiety by buying toilet paper and buying all of the hand sanitizer and making sure that they have enough. The people who are, out and about throwing coronavirus parties, that's an attempt to calm their anxiety over, just this big unknown. And that goes across the spectrum age-wise, but what I've seen in the last few days is younger people really not wanting to pay attention to that, and also the elderly people kind of in the same place. So that's been an interesting thing, but there are so many other ways to calm anxiety than to either be selfish and make sure that have this mercenary mindset almost of me and nobody else, which is kind of what the corona partiers are doing as well. The whole social distancing thing is about making sure that other people are going to be okay. You're going to be okay, I'm going to be okay, we can take care of each other. And that's where that idea originated from. So if someone is having these big parties, not practicing social distancing, not practicing all of the rest of the things that are going to keep us all safe, they put us all in danger. And I understand the calming the anxiety aspect of that, but there are better ways to do that than to just live life as normal, because we all have to get used to the idea of a new normal now.
Right. And that's exactly what I want to get into. So we'll go through this conversation kind of opening up with the overarching idea with what we are processing, because I know there's a lot, and then kind of work our way down. So the first question I wanted to ask you in regards to how we handle this thing from a mental health perspective, from the idea of seeing the impacts of a deadly pandemic, an economic downturn, and possibly long-term social isolation. What are your general thoughts about these different things that are existing around us at the moment, and a proper mental health perspective that we can have in navigating all of this?
Well, if there's ever been a really great way to explain group trauma, this is it. This touches everybody across the board. Nobody is exempt from feeling some type of pain from this. And really, that's the thing that I'm looking at more than anything else. This is a major leveling of some things, socially for us as Americans. Who is essential? Whose job is most important? Who do we have to now take care of? Going back, I'm going to probably say that a lot. I'll just warn you now. But really going back to who is taking care of other people and really seeing that with other people. If this does turn to something that is longer term, this now becomes part of our way of lives, that is a scary proposition, but also, again, back to the idea that you feed. I'm looking outside of my window and seeing the earth kind of renew itself in a week and a half. It's wonderful outside.
It's been amazing to see.
It's really amazing. And if nothing else, that really gives me hope for the future and what we, just as individuals thinking, oh, my one little footprint is not going to make that big of a difference. But you see, all of us working together, what can actually be achieved from that. So in looking to the future and that big question mark and trying to figure out what are we going to do? What's next? That's the thing that gives me the most hope. That if we can pull together and actually do this and beat this virus and people understand the seriousness of it, then we have the opportunity to do so many more things as a result of what we've learned through this process.
Right. Even when we're looking at the idea of, social distancing, and I think that can carry its own mental health ramifications to it. Due to us not being out as much, because as people there's a need to belong, there's a need to connect on a personal level.
Sure.
So when we are not allowed to be able to do that as much for good reasons, and not get enough sun, getting the vitamin D, there are a lot of things that can grow a toll on our own mental health throughout this process. So what would you say in how we can navigate this new normal from a mental health perspective, on the idea of social distancing and kind of being isolated from social gatherings?
Well, I would say that being as connected as we possibly can is important. We have all of these wonderful ways to stay connected. And, for my introverted clients and my extroverted clients, extroverted friends, that's, I just need people. I need to go to a coffee shop. I need to do something. So again, getting used to the technology that we do have in keeping in contact with one another, and really feeling useful in doing that. I mean, there are so many organizations that are still trying to work, still trying to do all of these things, Meals on Wheels, getting things to people that are really, really in need, and just feeling some ownership over something is going to be key through all of this. And also keeping in contact with people. It doesn't matter, you and your sorority sister fell out 15 years ago over some guy, who cares? You still have the number, you still have a way to contact, then contact. If that's what our contact looks like right now, and that's the thing that's going to help you the most, do that thing.
I agree. What's funny, this week I got a chance to do FaceTime with an old childhood friend. And we talked for maybe about an hour just about good old days and stories, just trading stories, and just being able to kind of talk about where we're at currently in our lives. And I couldn't help but to notice that if I wasn't, kind of in my predicament right now where I am limited with distractions and things that I could do or work, I wouldn't have the amazing opportunity to reconnect with my good childhood friend. And
Right.
it just brought a smile to my face, and it really was a sense of joy in the relationships that I do have in my life and how much more I need to be able to take proper care and nurturing those relationships, because this thing has kind of realigned important things in life and what really matters. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. I think having technology and having certain outlets that we have to remain connected is something definitely to be grateful for and to take advantage of.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah.
And one of the main things that I stress in my sessions are, we as societally are just used to doing. We get money for doing. We get kudos for doing, but it's caused us to section out our being so much. To just be able to sit down and allow that stillness for yourself. And if anything, another positive coming out of this is that people now have to be and be comfortable with being. So calling friends, picking up with relations that you haven't spoken to in a very long time. All of those things are allowing yourself to be. And I think it's a great state for people to embrace.
I feel like you've been looking into my journal because you're all up in here right now. I'm definitely a person that's always doing and need to be a little more present, and that's something I've been focusing on within prayer, meditation, and just kind of just my thoughts in general, just kind of just being present with God, being present with family, being present with friends that are dealing with this thing, and we're going through it together. So I definitely do see that in light of. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. How do you also handle anxiety and possibly feeling anxious when you're socially isolated? Because right now, many people are teleworking,
Mm-hmm.
and people are not allowed to kind of go out as much, and everything is limited. So that
Mm-hmm.
does take a toll. But how do you kind of handle now these feelings of being isolated, lonely, and anxious? What are some practical tools that we can really put into practice in our everyday lives?
Well, I think first, not beating yourself up or anyone beating themselves up for not. Okay, I'm in isolation, so while I'm working, I'm also going to write that novel and organize my sock drawer and do all of these little tasks that I have not had the time to do in all of this time. That there is going to be time for all of those things. And if there's not, that's okay too, because being able to step away, that's part of it, right? Being able to feel centered and grounded and not anxious. And part of that is whatever you can grab from your old existence, your old just kind of 8 to 5 going to work, whatever makes you feel that sense of normalcy and control over that issue or that piece, then do that. Even if it's, you're going to be in front of your computer for 8 hours, but still get up, take a shower, get dressed as if you were going to go to the office. So now your mind has shifted. Now we're no longer in home mode, we're in work mode. And even if you are in work mode, being able to step away from that. Outside is still there. You just don't get next to anybody, but you can walk around, you can walk your dog, the schedule now has become more yours than ever before. So whatever it is that's going to make you feel that sense of control over your day and over your time, do more of those things.
Yeah, I think that's sound advice, especially when our normal has kind of changed, and trying to adjust and feeling a sense of control over something that we can have control over. Because I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes with our community and people around the world is, it's not just the fear of the future, but our inability to control the future that really does weigh a toll on us. So figuring out what are some things that I can practically do in my everyday life from morning till I go to bed that can really take control of my day. And it can be the littlest things. It doesn't have to be super, huge. It's just making breakfast, taking a shower,
Right.
reading a book, something, or listening to a podcast that can challenge you, that you can stretch you and workouts, doing walks. I know I have these walks and that I'm doing every afternoon, and I'm doing like 100 push-ups a day just to kind of push
Mm-hmm.
myself and try to figure out unconventional ways to kind of still get a workout in without 24-hour fitness, which I've been kind of
Right.
used to. So just trying to bring 24-hour fitness here in my home,
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot of those things, but I'm so glad to hear that, those little components within your day can really do alleviate at least some of the anxiety and some of the worries around the situation that can be
Right.
fearful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. And then now, if I was on the other side and I have a spouse, a friend, a brother, sister that is dealing with a sense of anxiety around this particular time, what is the best way that I can serve and support them?
Being present with them is going to be hands down the best way to support. When you're feeling personally dysregulated or out of balance, and then someone comes into, your space and also feels out of balance, it's like two negative ions just kind of pinging against each other, right? So
Right.
it can be a lot. I mean, I'm saying it sounds kind of cavalier, but it can be a lot to just sit with someone in that anxiety. But sometimes that's exactly what they need. Because problem solving or trying to go through a checklist with them, or just trying to do a list of things to try to help that person feel better is not always what's needed in that moment. And if you're still struggling trying to figure out what it is that's needed, you can ask, like, what do you need
Wow.
in this moment? And it can be something simple like, could you make me a cup of tea? Or can you sit here with me and watch this movie? Or, it could be any number of things that you weren't actually thinking of. So asking is always the best way to, and if they don't know, that's okay. Sitting is also very good. Just being near someone when they're feeling anxious does a world of good.
Yeah, that's so huge. Something that I learned last year when I was dealing with someone that was close that was dealing with some mental health challenges was the understanding
Mm-hmm.
of not being able to fix everything and being okay with it, but just being present and available and ask those type of questions. So a huge realization I came across during that time was sometimes in order to be a light, you just have to be willing to sit with someone in the dark.
Right.
And I think that was a realization for someone like me that's more geared towards fixing and solving problems.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's, I don't know, I'm conditioned in a certain way, but everyone is conditioned differently, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
about developing that empathy and figuring out what are some ways that I can really just support people without always trying to solve their problems.
Right. Right. And I think that, we want to be giving and we want to be of service. And that usually looks a very specific way. But in this situation, or any anxiety producing situation where you don't actually have the answers for yourself, then you can do the things that you think are going to help you for someone else and be completely off track. So it's always best to ask what's needed. And again, if you don't get the answer back, okay, we'll just sit and figure it out together.
Right, right. No, I appreciate that insight. So if someone that is watching right now has a certain mental health condition or challenge or difference, what are some ways that they can what are some ways that they can be able to prevent their anxiety from maybe getting worse because of COVID-19?
Well, if they already have supports in place, if they already have a therapist or a psychiatrist and are taking meds, making sure that all of that is still online, because that's going to maintain the best sense of normalcy through this. And not assuming that, oh well, the world is closed, so that means that I have to deal with this in a vacuum, because that's not the case. So making sure that all of those things are online, and also reaching out as much as possible, as much as they're comfortable reaching out, to friends, other family members, anyone who can give them some time and a willing and listening ear and an empathetic ear. Um, Whatever can be maintained, again, from the old normal schedule, that can kind of continue on through our social isolation period right now, is going to be great. And then if someone knows that someone is having a hard time, to make sure that that person knows and to check in, so that there's some accountability. for that person who is, having a mental health issue. There are also 211 Texas is a great resource. There are also, hotlines and immediate emergent support. Austin is great with services, and those services still continue. So the idea that the city is shut down, so I don't have access to those things, that's absolutely not true. You can call, you can get guidance. Even if your regular therapist or regular doctor is out, there's going to be someone there to take up the slack for them. So really not thinking that, you're alone through this, because we are not. We're not alone.
Right, right. What are some best ways that people can kind of get in contact with your practices or maybe other resources that you found available? I know you mentioned, I think 211 Texas is a great resource. Do you have any other type of resources, maybe with your own personal service or just in general, that can be a bit of a help and a tool for someone that may be looking to kind of reach out for support?
Well, Psychology Today is still going to be a great resource across the board for finding a therapist. There, for our persons of color, there's also What's in the Mirror, and Therapy for Black Girls also are great resources. Mostly everyone has gone to teletherapy at this point, which means that a lot of people have unfortunately lost clients because of it. So even though you're thinking, okay, this is not the right time to start a therapeutic relationship, it actually is. So just that, guarding that courage to reach out and see what's available for you is going to be a great thing to do to make sure that you're taken care of.
Right, right. No, that's great. That's great. Do you have any type of last words or advice to anyone that's probably watching, that's looking for probably the best way that they can respond, towards this respiratory disease that may seem very overwhelming, and then all the different issues that it's touching, whether it's economics, family, friends? I just want to kind of give you the platform to kind of share maybe any last words or encouraging insight that can kind of help navigate through this.
Okay. I'm going to return to something that I said before. You're going to give energy to the thing that you give energy to. So if it is negative, that's going to grow. You feed it, it's going to grow. So the more that you can do to be of service to yourself, be of service to other people, find something that you're passionate about, or find someone that personally may need a helping hand and reaching out to them. Because that's how we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this together, and we are absolutely going to get through it. So there has to be, the idea of endurance for all of us that we all have, inherently, and just going from there. I mean, there's not really, we don't have any answers on the other side. And putting too much energy on the other side it's just not advisable. That doesn't help you in the now. And we are alive right now. So be present, be grounded in your present, and we're going to be okay. We'll get through it.
Appreciate that. There is a couple of questions. I think there's one in particular, if that's okay.
Sure.
I want to just kind of be mindful of a few people. So once I came across what it says, regarding working from home, how can I create a productive mindset and environment while working from home?
Okay. So something I said a little earlier, getting up, getting dressed, doing the things that you were actually going into an office, that's something that's a trick. It's called paradoxical intention. So you can accept the suck. You can accept the fact that you don't want to sit at your computer for the next 8 hours, but you're going to do it. You're going to just completely immerse yourself in the idea that I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because when it's done and your day is done, you can look back and say, okay, that was horrible. And I did it. I put on my clothes. I had my little lunch. I did all of the things I was supposed to do. And now the rest of the day is mine.
Right. Right. No, that's a really good answer. I appreciate that.
Sure.
If there's any other questions, and I can be able to take one more. I know you have a busy schedule ahead of yourself. So if anyone has one question, I can be able to kind of bring that up. So feel free to ask any questions that you all may have at the moment while we have Miss Patty Evers here. I think we've been talking for about a good 30 minutes, so I didn't realize the time has gone that much.
That's okay.
All right. Well, I don't think I'm not seeing any more questions, but I know that there are ways that we can all get in contact with each other. Do you want to share your IG or ways that people can be able to communicate and connect with you after this live session is over?
Sure. My website is hillcountryparenting.org. If that's a lot, you can also just Google Patty Evers. Only two of us will come up, and I'm not the women's basketball coach in East Bladen, Ohio, so I'm the other one. So that'll be an easy way to get to me. You know, I'm still actively seeing clients. I have several incredible interns who are also seeing clients currently. You know, help is out there for you. And if I am not the right therapist for you and one of my interns is not, we'll definitely point you in the right direction and get you hooked up with someone who can help.
Great, great. Well, once again, thank you so much for your time and allowing us to really just walk through this with you. I know that what we're dealing with is very challenging, no matter what seat that you're sitting in, whether you're, counseling or you're getting counseling, whether you're a doctor or you're, working in the food industry. I think it's affecting us all on different levels. And this is our opportunity to share information, education, and support for one another. So I really do appreciate that, and you being able to kind of just be available, during this time.
Of course. Yes, anything to help.
All right. Well, have an amazing day. Hope to connect with you soon. And I hope that you are transitioning, that you continue transitioning well with this new normal that we're all having.
Yes. Yes, I will be okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Great rest of your
We all
day.
will. All right. We'll do. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.